Welcome to this next episode of Your Music, Your Story. Today we're talking with Manual Fade. We've got Jason and Ian. Welcome.
How you doing?
We're here to
Jeff.
party.
Thanks for having us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So we'll just get started. Who all is in Manual Fade? You got three of you.
We're a three-piece. Myself, JB, and our bass player, Chris Rector, who's, I think he's sleeping right now.
How dare
He's
he?
unavailable.
Priorities.
Must have had a rough night.
And if I seem a little off, it's because I also had a rough night.
Uh-oh.
Some of the guys and I went out to see GBH at the Garden Amp,
Oh, did you go?
and it was a great show. I mean, just to see, Colin and Jock out there and Ross, just still cranking it out, and they sounded great, full of energy, and we had a blast. It was a full house, and
Nice.
I my hat goes off to anybody really that still goes out there and does it. Even people that are just starting out in bands. The amount of practice that goes into it, the amount of time that takes to get a band together. You know, people say, "I want to be in a band." Okay, well, first thing you got to do is you
Got to know what you're doing.
you have to
somewhat.
put in
Can
the
you
work
play?
and practice
Yeah.
and so it was just great, being there. My first show was, I think, Fender's Ballroom in like '86 or something, and my older brother took me there.
Who'd you see?
Oh fuck! It was Agnostic Front. It was High Racks, Dayglow, Abortions. It might have been Reagan Youth. I got beat up. I came home with a black eye. My mom's just shaking her head, and it was the greatest time. And to still go out and see shows now, and to see some of these bands that are still doing it. I mean, it's unreal. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, even though the show did end early because the Garden Amp, it's in a commute, like people got to live and sleep. We ended up going to the Aztec down the street on Main and hit the Elvis bar and finished off the night. So this morning I got up and had a couple eggs, some water,
GBH and Elvis. I like it.
music. And we can probably get into it, but
Yeah.
our backgrounds, I mean, it's so vast from, like you said, jazz and rock, punk, metal. Just
Whatever.
you don't go through life and go, well, I'm going to be a punker, and then fuck that. I'm gonna get into like blues and shit. Like I just added on to what I'm listening at the time, and it's an accumulation of all these. And I listen to punk on a regular basis, but it's not the majority of what I like. I like, all kinds of stuff.
The good stuff.
Rush, and I throw it all in there. Jazz, Sunday mornings I still do vinyl, so I'm putting Al Green on.
Oh, you
and
still you
spinning
got a
it.
whole stack of them?
Oh yeah. Oh, I never got rid of them because I figure I'd have some use for them down the line. Because in the '90s it was all about CDs, so and I still did the vinyl, but my buddies just he had just tons of CDs and everybody would like get rid of their records. Hey, you want my stack? My buddy's like, hey, my dad's getting rid of like. Just all the rock and stuff. And I go, I'll take it. Give it to me. Perfectly good music. And I can't see getting rid of music.
I think that's one of our secrets is that we pull from outside of our genre. So, you'll hear little Van Halen, even though we play punk, metal, or whatever. But, even like he's saying Rush or something like that. The Police, we're big fans of all that
Power
stuff.
Trios. You see
Uh-oh,
the
Connection.
the Minutemen and
So
Yeah.
the little tricks you'll hear it if you're listening. You know what I mean?
We brought them from dust. We search for that hope. We're sure to find us. Didn't let that info. We long for a destination.
So, are you guys gonna stick a 3-piece? Like, is a 3-piece what you're? All right, we're good.
I think so.
Well, it's funny. I think that's one of the evolutions of at least me and him playing together is that every time you add a new member, you add more complications to scheduling, practice, rehearsal, writing, all that stuff. It just seems simpler as a 3-piece. A little more. It's a little bit heavier on the members because you carry a little more weight, at least in the kind of music we play. So
That's all right though. Nothing wrong with it.
No, it's fun. I like staying busy. It keeps me on my toes.
You split the winnings 3 ways.
Instead of 4 ways.
Instead of 4, or maybe you got 6 guys in the band, or maybe you got 15 guys in the band. I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah, how do you coordinate 15? Yeah.
Charge more for Yeah, we're gonna have to charge you guys more.
Well, so I did a talk with T-Bone Willie from Bite Me Bambi.
Okay.
So my wife was like, I really like those guys. So they played last night.
Oh.
And yeah, 8 of them?
8.
I think 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I'm just thinking. That's tough. Sometimes I think the most I've been in is 4, maybe 5, maybe. Even then, you're like, gee, how do you get 8? Yeah.
I guess on the bright side, if you're missing a horn player, it's like the show goes on. If you're missing one of us, we're done.
I don't have a drummer.
I do appreciate those band. I grew up listening to my dad would Saturday mornings. He was a drummer also, but after that he played congas. So that's when I was growing up. I didn't see him really play drums, but he got the congas out on the Saturdays. So I'd wake up, and we want to sleep. My brother and I want to sleep in, right? And he's just going away. He's playing to Santana and Malo, and so I grew up listening to Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Tower of Power, and so like Chicago. Speaking of the horns, like you have to have that many members to get that sound going.
Yeah.
And it was, again, that's all part of who I am as a musician. All these early influences. Grew up in a family of musicians. My uncle played drums until he passed all his life in his late 60s. He might have been 70. And just another uncle's, taught me a little piano. Piano is really, if I had to go back, and I remember my mom got me a piano teacher when I was in the 3rd grade or so. And I was too young. I didn't appreciate it. I wish I would have stuck with it. Now I had since acquired my Oma's piano. It's an old Gil Bronson classic upright, and so it's in my house, and I play it every day. And
I think Oma's Indonesian.
Yeah,
for grandma.
it's my grandma. I'm Dutch Indo, so just like the Van Halen brothers, music's in the blood. Yeah.
So how do you guys? Are you the primary songwriter? Do you guys write together with the 3 of you? How does your songwriting work?
Well, I mean, we have a long history. I've been playing with JB on drums for over 25 years, something like that.
At least, yeah.
And so, not to go way historical, but
Do tell.
Yeah.
We have time, right?
Yeah.
So, JB, he started. Well, you get him into the SMD years real quick.
So I used to be in a band called Severe Mental Disorder, SMD, and I think that was about 86, and I was living in Westminster at the time, and moved out to Corona, where I live now still, in 87, and the band kind of split. And we had some member changes, and when I moved to Corona, we got the singer at the time was in the Army. So after his 5 years, he got out of the Army. I started playing drums because I was originally the guitar player back in the day. I started playing drums because nobody else in the neighborhood can do it, really.
There were no drummers.
There was no drummers, man. Everybody wanted to play guitar,
That's how it works.
Even bass and stuff. So I'm like, really, what really happened is we had music class in high school, and the teacher was out sick for like a couple weeks. So we had broken into the jazz room where they had a bass and drums, because it was a guitar class that we were taking. And a lot of good friends still till this day that I keep in contact with that have gone on to do bands. Mike McKenna from Spiderworks, and just the whole Corona little band scene. Applecore, my buddy Jeff, who was at the GBH show last night, hanging out with. We used to go see them play in backyards in high school, and so I ended up started playing the drums, and I was okay at it, I wasn't the greatest, but I stuck with it and kept playing guitar at the time, but really found that the drums were my thing.
That was what you liked?
It's so much. In the present, right now, is the funnest I've ever had playing the drums with Ian and Chris right now.
Oh, that's fun.
It's so much fun. I mean, I look, because there's times when I go, damn,
I don't want
to do this. Not that I would never not do it, but it's like, I'm busting my knuckles. I'm getting blisters. I'm learning so much as a drummer right now, and it turns out that I don't know much about drumming. You know what I mean? I'm like, a lot of these guys now that we're playing with, they're our buddies band Celebrity Stalker. We've known Larry and Jason from back in the day when they were another band, and we used to do shows with them. They're a three-piece as well, and their drummer Charlie, like he's drum guy. Like I watch him play, and it's like, he's always sending me like these pictures of his new drum kit, a Varus kit, and he's like sponsored by Saluda Cymbals, and I go, quit sending me these pics. They're like drum porn. I go,
I don't need this.
It makes me want to buy a new drum kit. I still play a 1970s a Ludwig Vistalite, Bonham style.
nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a fun kit. It's good live. It doesn't record very well, but it's a great live kit. And so, anyways, I turned out that I'm the drummer. So, anyways, not to get off track, but yeah.
With songwriting, I guess I wouldn't say we really collaborate, but we do. Like JB, he brings his ideas. Like I'll write a song on GarageBand for instance, like guitar riffs, and put fake, drummer in a box, which he hates. And then
Drum machines.
He can't even handle it. No, I can't listen to it. Just give me the riff.
Turn that crap off.
I don't want it to infiltrate and
To sour
influence. Yeah.
And I'll present songs, and I'll write the lyrics, the whole thing, and then
Yeah, it's
and then,
great.
And then
complete.
I guess the good part about it is it's either like, hey, we could do that was doable, or let's move on or whatever. But then JB has his own songs that are, he's a fantastic songwriter himself. I mean, and so
Oh, thank you.
Go team.
and so he's got like literally we've been playing together for 25 years, so he's got like a whole like shelf of songs that we both agree we should have recorded
Yeah.
those,
So like old songs when you were in other bands? Or just in
No, these are. I have, because I did a little recording back in the day. I lived with a buddy, and we built a nice little studio in his garage.
Nice.
Double wall, split bass. So
Oh, you went serious.
yeah, we
threw some carpet.
No, we insulated the everything, and so I was just working with this basic program that a neighbor of mine gave me for free. Like, here, check this out, and then eventually I think my buddy got Cubase or just something just basic, whatever. And I did like you're talking earlier. You did the drums. You just kind of put the bass line down, and I put vocals down, and I record it, and I put it away. So I have just all these songs that we can pull from still that are, I think they're valid songs, and that I would like to do. Some of them, are hit and miss, but we did pull a couple of mine and threw them on the album that we just put out. So it's fun because we've been listening to the same thing for all these years, but my style of writing is different. So
you could, if you know us and you know our personalities, you can listen to our full length LP and you go, oh, that's a JB song. Oh, that's an Ian song. Oh, that's a JB song. Or that part, that's got to be JB.
yeah, it makes it fun. It makes it fun for the listener because it's not a whole album of this particular style.
Yeah.
So it ebb and flows. And like I'm sure all musicians, there's a there's a method to the madness when you put an album out and you pick the songs that you want. A set list when
Yeah.
we go live. You want it to breathe, and you want it to. It's a journey from the first song to the closer. So
Hopefully you're tired when you're done.
yeah,
Right?
And you,
Oh, yeah.
and you had a
always.
party.
It always full blast when we do live shows. You don't hold. I don't hold back. I'm drenched at the end of it, and I
Yeah.
feel great. Yeah.
I would say our live shows, it's 100%. Like
Yeah.
we're fried at the end of, just roll out to the car and crash out for a couple hours after we play because it's that tiring.
See, that's good. Yeah, because I've been to some of those shows where you're like, dude, this is boring. I mean, maybe you are super excited, but you sure ain't showing it.
Yeah.
You got the drummer back there.
Yawning.
Yeah, and everyone is just like,
I
just
have
go
to-
home or something.
Yeah, I
Do
have
something.
to make up for the lack of talent. So I put on a good show, so at least you can see me up there,
having a good time.
flailing around, having a good time. It might sound like shit, but
Who
whatever.
cares?
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Well, I mean, I that's a part of the live show too, right? Is just the volatility of it's fast music we play, so it's like riding on the razor's edge,
Yeah.
and it feels like you could fall off at any moment, but that's what makes it so fun,
Totally awesome. on the album. So this album that you did, that's the first one that since you've been back together.
Well, so we played in SMD for probably 15 years together. He started back in '87 SMD, and then I actually jumped on bass. I wasn't even a bass player; I was a guitar player.
You couldn't find a bass player too.
And it just through. I'll do the short versions. The old bass player quit over some nonsense, and I just happened to be working with the guitar player at the time, and he says, "Oh, our bass player just quit," and I had just saw them at a show, and I go, "It's great songwriting, great songs." I'm all and when he said that the bass player quit, I just like
I'm there, dude.
Yeah, I'll play bass. He goes, "Oh," and he runs out to the car. I'm gonna date myself and gives me a cassette of, of a live recording. I think it's
a boom,
Showcase.
So it was Showcase?
It was a Showcase.
Okay, because we used to do the boom box in the corner with a towel over it, and
It worked,
on a
huh?
cassette, and it worked. You hit record,
Yep.
and that's how we check this out. Cassette.
Look at our awesome recording.
So he gives me that, and he says, "Learn these songs." And little I know that was those songs especially were that was a feat in itself just to learn songs like that
And you
by ear.
Yeah, by ear, huh?
But I learned by ear. I took theory and all that later on, but like my initial stuff was the cassette, rewind. So I learned. But I learned a few of the songs. I showed up to practice, and we got through a couple of them and learned a few more. We rehearsed again, and then they said, "Hey, you want to play Petrozello's in Riverside?" And that was my first show with SMD. And then
Nice.
that was the roller coaster ride of severe mental disorder.
Yeah.
So did you have a bass when you decided to play, or were you just like, well, let me gotta find a bass too?
So there's a good friend of mine, Ben Walters, he's a bass player, played in a band called CTU and some other bands, Top Hat Charade. And he had a bass later on. I didn't want to tell him because we were playing together sort of. We weren't an established band, but we had some songs we were working on. And I go, "Hey, can I borrow your bass band?" I didn't tell him why, but it was because I was gonna go,
somewhere else?
try to play with another band, and so I learned on his bass. And then remember the old Ibanez green bass?
Yep.
I bought this janky rig, from this a band. It was the 13th Floor, I think. The band out of Riverside, I think that's what they're called. And he sold me his big old monstrosity of a amp rig or bass amp, and that's what we played with for a while. And so,
And thanks,
Nice.
Ben, for coming out to see us. A couple weeks ago, we played with Jughead's Revenge, and I hadn't seen Ben in over 10 years. I don't
been a
know.
while.
So
Wow.
thank you if you're
Thanks for
listening.
loaning me your bass.
Yeah.
All those years ago.
Again, like how I got on the drums, just the lack of somebody at the time wanting
It's
to
funny
do
how
it.
that happens.
And
Yeah.
so
So I wasn't
basically,
I wasn't a songwriter at all. Maybe later on, there's a couple songs I started getting into. SOD has a few songs that I wrote on bass that got incorporated. But he went on. So at the end of SMD, we'll spare you that long story.
Yeah, so the split now from when he kind of took another path, and then we met back up just in the last. I mean, he started coming around to shows. 'Cause in this whole time I've been in probably 10 bands playing guitar and drumming. Just my buddy's like, "Hey, you want to do this? Want to do that?" We had different projects.
Heck yeah.
And had a band called Last Ditch Effort, and he
Why does
actually
that sound familiar?
we play with DI a lot. This is back like in Corona. We do all the venues out there, and we had a good little run. It was a fun band. Again, I was playing guitar in it and doing a little bit of singing. We had a lead singer, but he started coming around again. And this is
Yeah,
so Manual Fade's only like 4 years old, but prior to that, yeah, he kind of popped back up, right?
No, it's the SMD reunion as well.
Oh, it was a reunion.
It's a reunion. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I
go for it.
I was
Like
kinda,
a 10-year reunion or something?
Oh,
or just wanted to play again?
It was a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like I kind of coordinated. I'd been in contact with our old guitar player, and then I saw JB playing. I was like, "Hey, we should do a little thing, man. I mean, I think people appreciate us doing our old set or whatever." So our guitar player was living up in Reno at the time, and we'd see our singer floating
Oh
around.
dear.
To be honest, for the reunion, we never got together and rehearsed all in the same room. It was wild.
Yeah, how did you do it? Well, I
we
mean,
just everybody practiced on their own. He came over and we kind of our singer would like come over and sleep on the couch.
Well, we had a weird plan. Here's the plan. I told our guitar player, I go, you know the songs, man. Just listen to the CDs, like rehearse, because
Yeah.
we all our biggest worry was, you don't want to do your music injustice by not being able to play it. You
all
know?
sloppy.
All sloppy, and that was kind of our MO. We used to play tight, and so it wasn't a matter of playing, but as being in shape to do the songs.
Oh heck yeah.
You know what I mean? So what I told our guitar players is, hey, get your parts in order. You learn the part. I wasn't worried about our singer. Like, that dude just lives and breathes his own lyrics. And I mean, seriously, if he came in the room, he could spit out any of his lyrics like on a dime right now. That's how he was. But JB and me, like, I hadn't played bass. I'm a guitar player, so I started playing guitar all those years. So I had to get in shape
Get your fingers
play,
back into a
get
bass.
my feet, my fingers, the dexterity, all that stuff, and then getting him double kicking again because he's been playing in punk rock bands. So big long double kicking like sections is like he's probably like a little rusty at that stuff.
My hips are sore.
We did actually do really well, and
Yep.
it just turned out great. And
We had a
but
big.
nowadays,
crowd.
if we didn't rehearse, we got to rehearse, guys. And I would be so nervous to do it, but like I said, it was almost second nature. And like Ian said, it's just about physically getting in shape for it.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yeah.
it's so fun when you can physically do it.
Yeah.
And you're confident and you feel good, like as you're playing and you see people out there like
Getting into
bobbing
it.
their head.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's just the
I mean, looking
greatest
back,
feeling.
that might have been like the little spark. So we got in shape, did the show, had a really good time, and he was doing last ditch effort at the time. So it wasn't but a few months after that something happened where the bass player. He calls me up one day. He says, "Ian, we need you to play bass." And at the time, like I did the reunion on bass, but I don't want to play bass anymore. I'm a guitar player.
I've moved on from
Much
that.
better guitar player, even though he's a great bass player. He kills it on guitar. So
Yeah, so
that's-
I turned him down. I go, you know what? It's fun playing hard music. I like sweating up on stage. I like getting into it, but I won't do it for bass. I'll play guitar. And he goes, so that was the end of that. Well, a month later, he goes, okay, I'm going to play drums. You're going to play guitar. And I said, well, all right. And so I learned to set and jumped in the last ditch for probably the last year, last ditch going on. And then that had a little falling out. And then that's really the birth of Manual Fade was when that was kind of dying out. I kind of approached JB and said, JB, like we both write songs. That's when I was starting to get into my own, lyrics and I was able to record riffs. Right. I said, we need to get a bass player to play our style, the stuff we like to play and do a band like that. And that was really that conversation was the birth of Manual Fade. So,
and we
okay.
we had my buddy John, high school buddy, play bass originally, and actually, I think he lives out here somewhere now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
And,
pretty close.
But there wasn't a negative falling out. It's just the time it takes being in a band and the distance and just that and that. So I mean, John's a great guy, and it was fun jamming with him. And then, Chris came in probably 4 months. Maybe it's been a little longer now, but
Yeah.
and he's really picked up. I mean, the songs are hard.
They're quick.
To learn. They're quick. Just because Ian writes on his songs all the bass lines as well at this point. So they're tricky, man. And I'm kind of at rehearsal. I'm kind of staring at Chris, and he can
Get it
feel me
right,
like,
dude.
Get it right, man. He's doing a great job.
Well,
He
I think when we do that double picking, like kind of picking, like that. It's
Do you
fast.
do a James Hetfield version, all downstrokes?
Yeah, I can hold my own with the downstrokes. Yeah, but we do the little skippity picking. I'm into picking. I like the picking, like the old
Yeah.
all I call them the great pickers. You know, the Mike Clarks, you know, Headfield's. He's up there. Yeah, dude could down pick, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Crumb Suckers. These guys are like phenomenal pickers, and those are big influence on him and me. And so anyway, one of the concerns was when I write bass lines, I don't know how to play bass. I just play guitar on bass, if that makes sense.
That's the same thing, basically.
So I double pick the bass, you know, hauling ass. You know, I could sync up with myself like perfectly, but the thing was that Chris, he plays with his fingers. And so he's a finger player. So that was a concern whether he could even keep up because the bass lines are already recorded.
You're
you know?
moving.
But he's pulling it off.
So he does he does the Robert Trujillo thing where he uses his index finger like a pick.
It's pretty cool.
Where he did like up and down with his index finger, and he keeps up. And so like, and you know, hats off to the guy. Like he went. You know, a lot of guys have a hard time with our music. You know, we've played with guys and they have a hard time picking it up. But it took him a couple months, but he got our set, and we're gigging left and right now.
Yeah,
so.
we threw him right into the mix. Like we got a show in San Diego, I think in a couple weeks with MIA. 1984, I got Murder in a Foreign Place. That album it just sang to me. They were like it sounded like they really knew how to play their instruments and knew how to sing and stuff. But so yeah, we threw them into all these shows. We're playing with Guttermouth coming up. With a great lineup. It's like Since We Were Kids and No Consent. And,
Yeah, that's
Six
July
Sense,
9th.
Yeah.
Where's
So-
that at?
Victorville at the
Whiskey Barrel?
July 9th. Yeah.
You can find all the info on our Instagram or whatever.
I do
Facebook.
my best to stay away from Victorville.
You know what? We've been doing some high desert stuff that's been really fun.
I've heard people
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, we just played. It was called what festival?
Fired Up
Fest.
Fest.
And it was, remember that band Green Jello from the 90s?
They were there?
Little Pig. Well, yeah, they were there.
They were all there, all of them.
The whole slew. All
Well,
dressed up?
They're the
whole
largest band in the
circus.
world. They got members all over the world, and they just recruit as they play around.
It was interesting.
And they're all cool, really cool guys, though. We did their TV show a couple years ago.
I've heard that's kind of
The Green Jello
screwy and silly.
It's
and,
wild.
No doubt.
I mean, it is green
That's
jello.
what makes it fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've been getting some pretty good stuff thanks to some good friends of ours that when you're a new band, it's hard to. We've been around a while playing the circuit, right? But when you start a new band and it's a new name and it's a new brand and this and that, it's
No one
start,
knows who you
start
are.
from the bottom, and which I don't mind. I like clawing our way up and just sticking to it. And so we've had some good help from some friends of ours, and again, like Larry from Celebrity Stalker, like getting us on some good shows and stuff. And so Chris is thrown into the mix, and he's literally, the first couple gigs, you're like, we got these gigs booked. Can you do it? He's like, sure.
I think so.
And then he did really well.
Yep.
There was a couple spots because being the rhythm section, being the drummer, that bass. Ian's kind of sometimes you can't hear the guitar, right? Because it's a
for
weird
sure.
setup, right? So maybe we're in this. They don't mic your stuff up or this or that or whatever. So really, I tell Chris, like, it's you and I up there. We're gonna follow each other and we're gonna hold that rhythm section down, and Ian will just go on autopilot because he's singing and playing guitar. So he has to, if he had to adjust like bands do, because sometimes you're off a bit and you within one beat you're back on it and nobody notices, right? That's the key. So he's kind of on autopilot. So I tell Chris, we just got to keep that rhythm section going.
Yeah, that I'd sang and done other stuff, but like this kind of music, I've never attempted singing and playing leads and all that stuff. And I don't have, I can't really track what they're doing. I do at practice, but like live,
You're just kind of in your own.
well, I'm trying to engage the audience. I still believe in the audience and band. Whatever's going on, that's what live is. That's what that's why people come to the live show. They want to interact. So like I want to engage the audience, not pay attention to what my band members are doing.
Get it right, dude.
But if they get all squirrely over there, then it's like, okay, I gotta, there's too much going on to like, you get into trouble quick.
It's fun.
So how long did it take you to? Because some of your riffs, you're moving.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take to coordinate the singing with the riff playing?
Oh, it's funny. So this is what I tell people about that, because they go, "How do you play riffs like that and sing?" Because it is. I agree. It's not easy. But what I learned is that your voice, you could train it just like muscle memory in your fingers. You could almost. And what I do is I a garage band, I'll loop a section, and I'll just mouth the words along with it while I'm playing, and eventually like you could actually train your muscle memory to just say the words like almost autopilot. They just come out, and eventually then I start like vocalizing them, and eventually like you could sing really complicated rhythms and vocals at the same time, and it's repetition, and it's there's practice, kids. There's no substitution.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to put in the work.
Heck yeah. Well, you can tell some of those bands that do and the ones that don't.
Oh yeah.
And then some you're just like, dude. I mean, I'm embarrassed for you.
Right.
But whatever. So I mean, on your Manual Fade album, that's what it was. Like that's the album title.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Manual Fade, the LP. Yeah.
So when I listened to that, I mean, like you're saying, there seemed like a lot of influence. It sounded like there might be some some Pennywise type, some of that old kind of
Sure.
thrash
Yep, I've
stuff,
heard
some
that.
of the punk stuff.
Yep.
So is there, if you guys would look back and said, this was an awesome band that really had a huge influence on me. I know you talked about MIA.
Oh man. So as far as punk rock, and I'll just go from. So my older brother is 3 years older than I am. My brother Roman, and like I said, we were living in Westminster at the time, and it was the big like Orange County boom. We're in DI and the adolescents, and the Descendants were huge.
Yeah.
And just Uniform Choice, like just all the early stuff that just was popping up. Circle Jerks, Black Flag, just the whole run, right? And then like along comes like Rock and Roll Nightmare from RKL, and my mind just it shifted the way I it was really it's a rock and roll nightmare. It's a rock and roll album. It's punk rock, right? I mean, RKL is probably like the guys. Some of the ex-members now, because a couple of the guys had passed. I think Bomber and Jason like a while ago, and so some of the members are now in Lagwagon, which is another huge influence in the '90s. Like when I heard Duh and Trash and all that. Again, Propaganda, like that shifted the way I viewed like how I approached writing music and the way I played my drums. Like I was like, oh wow.
You could do such things?
Wow, that's like, yeah, I want to do that.
Right.
And George from Propaganda, like, we just went and saw them, my girlfriend and I, some months ago at the Glass House. But Victory Lap, supporting cast. Oh, I just listen to those albums and I just sit there and soak it up. I'm like, this is so great. It's inspirational, and so. Crumb Suckers, I mean, it's a whole slew of things. The whole Venice, Beowulf. I was just listening to Beowulf.
Yeah.
Whenever I do stuff like this, we have a show, or like today, I'm like, we're gonna go talk to Jeff, and I got to get motivated. So I put on some Beowulf. I threw on some like early TSOL, like Dance With Me, and like just to get inspirational and stuff. And so it's really, to me, how I came to be the musician I am. Practicing, obviously, right? But like listening to all these different things and soaking it up. He's probably we have similar bands, because we sit there like in the olden days and like put a record on and we'd sit there and read lyrics and listen to it.
Like, this is
But
awesome.
I don't know if anybody does that now per se. They're in their headphones and they're listening in their car or whatever. But we used to like have little parties or whatever, and we'd put vinyl on and we just sit there in the living room and like crank it, right? And just
I think RKL would have been like a fusing point between like what we consider like, well, these guys are phenomenal musicians, because it's even before I really knew him or before we were playing. Speaking of Ben Walter again, like he an old friend of ours, this guy Mark Shade, old friend, sold him, or I think he just gave him his record collection. Maybe $50. One of those. So this is like 80, I think this is 89, but in that record collection was one of the first edition Rock and Roll Nightmares. I know it's first edition
because the comic book.
It had the comic book in there.
Yeah.
The comic book was the first edition, and I remember like that's what I was exposed to RKL. I was like, what the heck is this? The comic book was the lyrics of the album, and it just these guys are going crazy on the instruments. It's like hard to even like. You have to almost adjust your ears. Got to get used to what like the craziness going on in that album.
Bomber is probably the best, or was, punk, not even punk rock. He's the drummer. Like his drumming is just so off the hook. It's wild. Yeah.
That was a big one. I like
huge.
Like Crumb Suckers was East Coast, and I like Cro-Mags and
Cro-Mags,
stuff like that. So that I was more out of the two of us. So he's more the punk rock. I like more the hardcore. I'd be the meddler in the band, I guess. Unashamed.
Oh yeah.
Excel was huge.
Excel is a big influence. I think vocally, that's where Excel is a big influence. as far as
Suicidal.
that.
Like that whole run.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No
Yeah.
Mercy. Oh, when No Mercy came
Oh,
out,
that's another- that's Mike
the Widespread, the original No Mercy had a different singer, but then Mike Clark stepped in, and again, that's just the picking and stuff. Mike Clark's
that's
that
the
double picking and just that tempo and that driving force of that style. Metallica,
Just
love
going.
Metallica, that whole thing. Yeah, it's just
I
like,
would, like,
okay.
Metallica's, Metallica, they're just, it's Metallica, but like, I'd say the master class on double picking is listen to Widespread Bloodshed.
Yeah.
That
Mike
album,
Clark.
the Mike Clark and that album, like the whole album, it used to be mind blowing. It's like this guy played a whole set of music like that just because he never stops in that album. The whole time, it's like that was their set.
Yeah.
And mind blowing to me.
That's crazy. It just made me think because I remember my brother got Descendants. He got Enjoy and Live Edge.
Yeah.
I just remember those were the greatest albums in the world.
Yep.
I love
Enjoy
those
is
things as a
really
kid.
good.
Yep.
So catchy.
The just the way it sounds. 'Cause I know Bill's a big, like
Because he did all their engineering, right? Or mixing or
he's
something?
got the blast room, like the stuff that comes out of there that he engineers, like Hang from Lagwagon and like Wolves in Wolves Clothing by No Effects is really. I put that album on, I turn it up real loud, and I sit there and listen to it. It's so clear, like it's. But yeah, Bill's a madman.
And that was another one. I remember we went somewhere. I don't know if it was a No Effects album or Lagwagon. We went with friends, and he had a big stereo, and he played it. I mean, because the drums were just so clean. They were so quick. You could hear the
insane.
bass drum. You could hear snare, the bass. Everything was just so clean. And you're just like,
I
totally
keep
awesome.
telling him that the newest album, the Hyperspasium Caffeinate album,
yeah.
I think that recorded bass, the bass tone in that is probably my favorite recorded bass. I mean, it cuts so freaking clean.
Carl's another finger
Yeah.
guy. He the way he plucks it, it's just
He's
phenomenal.
he's good.
It's phenomenal.
He's good.
Like, it's just, I mean, clever bass lines. It's not like he just plays along and it's good. I mean, they're just,
They're amongst the top musicians.
Yeah, I like that. I incorporate a lot of like I try to switch like who's doing the melody. Like sometimes the bass is the hook, sometimes the guitar is the hook, sometimes the drum lines are the. I try to incorporate different melodies and stuff like where who's running the melody. It switches between the three of us. So I try to. That's my songwriter. I try to do that.
And to go back to the Descendants, I saw them at the Glass House as well some months ago. Phenomenal. They're still up there doing, Bill's back there like
that dude hardly moves, but
he hardly. The sound comes out of that kit, man. Just fantastic.
Technique. Yeah, I'm a big
does it.
technique guy.
Yeah.
Like you can see the guys that are relaxed up there. There's like, they
this
might-
ain't no thing.
Yeah, they have a conversation on the side over there. And they're just ripping up there.
That's awesome.
What's this saying of? Let go, let go. My first is time to go. We know. What's this saying of? Let go, let go. My first is time to go. We know. What? Can't you believe? What? Can't you perceive? Now, there's a last chance. Try, last one again. Feel it calling, dragging, crawling. Powerless to the fall. Gravity's got you up. Feel it calling, dragging, crawling. Powerless to the the pole. Gravity's got too low. Wait, with chances for the answers weighing down on me. Let the blind man see, it's just a part of me. We carve our path a straight line. Look with visions past. We breathe our moments last until they're pulling down on me. What's this to say you know? Let go, let go. Now first it's time to go. We know. What can't you believe? What can't you perceive? Now there's a last chance. Try, slap for the gun. Feel it calling, drag you crawling. Powerless to its pull. Gravity's got you up. Feel it calling, drag you crawling. Powerless to its pull. Gravity's got you up. Wait, with chances for the answers weighing down on me. Let the blind man see, it's just a part of me. We carve our path a straight line. Look with visions past. We breathe our moments last until they're pulling down on me. Wait, with chances for the answers weighing down on me. Let the blind man see, it's just a part of me. We carve our path a straight line. Look with visions past. We breathe our moments last until it's pulling down on me. Let go, let go. Until it's pulling down on me. We know. Until it's pulling down on me. Let go, let go. Until it's pulling down on me. We know.
So where did you record your album at? Did you do it at home or did you go to a studio?
So I got a friend of mine, Mike Cantrell, Standard Issue. He sent me a link to a guy. He's all check out this guy. He records out of his house in Corona. His name's Chris Eck, and he's
Like a mile from me. He's just right there. Yeah.
Nice.
I guess you probably have to read his website, but like I guess he's recorded for like he's got contracts for recording. He's pretty accomplished recording guy. And this home thing was just a side gig. He's like, I could do this stuff at home too, is what I think his whole setup is. So he started recording local bands out of his house or whoever. And when I heard the recordings, I go, man, that guy, like, I mean, you could just tell there's a level of quality that, like, we should give this guy a shot. So we did our EP through him. And it just came out, like, I really liked the way it came out. And it's just a home recording studio. And so that's what led us to.
Don't let it fool you though. It's like high tech stuff. Like it's in his home, but it's
That's
drum,
nice.
a nice drum room, and it's some good stuff in there. Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take you to do it?
So the LP was really just he did the drums in a day, basically a couple of days.
Yeah, a couple of days, and I would have liked to spend a little more time. And again, I think we were coming out of, I don't want to say the C word.
I won't tell anybody if you do.
We were coming off that pandemic, and I don't think we jammed for a while. Obviously, no shows, right? But and then Ian's like, well, we can get into the studio, like he's available. So I was kind of out of practice a little bit. And so I kind of got it together real quick and went in there and did it. But I would have liked to have a little more grasp on the songs at the time, because I'm not the type of drummer that sits down and writes like okay, I'm gonna do this.
2 measures, 3 measures, break.
I write stuff like when I'm playing live. It's weird, but like
I agree.
We'll be at a
he
show.
writes live. Like,
We'll be at a
literally,
show.
Hey, I'm gonna do this. That was cool.
I'll go, yeah, that's staying in the set now, like, and because I have to feel what
the song is
what's
doing.
going on. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it'd be more efficient or whatever to like.
He's the hardest on himself than
I'm like,
he's really hard on
crap.
himself.
This is all. I mean,
I quit.
For a
Burn
minute,
it down.
in the studio for a minute. I'm like, this is garbage.
You know, I really wish that of all, because we've recorded SOD1,
Yeah.
SOD2, we've recorded demos before that. But if I had all the outtakes of this guy talking in the back, it would be gold.
It's the outtakes.
Yeah. That's it. I'm never doing it again.
I quit.
I'm not doing it again. Like it's just
I'm-
all this.
I was happy with what Chris Eck did, and so my hat goes off to him. And it's a great album. It's a good first album. In my opinion, second one I think on my parts will be more thought out, and I'm looking forward to doing. Because we want to do like a couple little EPs and just throw some stuff out there, and then we want to come out. I mean, the first album just came out not too long ago, but
Yeah,
I
this
want
year.
the second one to like right on its heels.
We-
like,
we literally have-
next year get another one out there.
2 more albums like on deck right now. We just haven't
wow.
got around to, because we've been playing all these. We have all these songs on deck that need to be recorded, and we want to record them. It's just a matter of getting together. They're not easy songs to learn, but I mean, we got ideas coming up. Yeah.
So was he a member and played on that album at that time? Because that came out in February, right, or something like that.
yeah, February, and then
So he was not at that time. No.
Okay.
So
I actually did the bass on the album, and then some of the recorded parts. John did
John did some.
He did some of the bass on
Our
some
old
of the-
bass player.
Okay.
Yeah, so which is not ideal, but
It works.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if he's willing.
right.
I guess if you could do it, I guess.
Yeah,
Again, it was coming out of that long break,
Yeah.
and the availability at the time.
Yeah, it was kind of, it threw a wrench in our whole.
Yeah.
Hey, we're a new band, and then we're just kind of getting some traction,
And no, we're not.
and then we're sitting at home doing nothing. And so that's why I was like, I kind of threw it on JB. It's like, let's be productive. Let's go record. I think
Yeah.
Chris is willing to let us, people, depend on who you're talking to, was a little bit sketched out about being around people at the time, but he's letting us in.
Yeah, that too. Like, because he records at his house, so he's got his
family's there.
His family there, and like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna have these. When Corona locked down, I was on my mountain bike, riding up into the hills, and I was. I can't sit home. I'm going to go ride my mountain
You're gonna
bike.
go bonkers.
And I'd see somebody in the park like, and wave like, and I'd be
Yeah,
coming
look,
this
a
way,
human.
and he would turn around and go the other way and go, hey, how you doing? But anyway, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So are you guys, when you're doing your EP, are you guys going to do the singles? I know a lot of bands now are just doing singles every now and then, or are you going to do a couple songs at a time at a release?
Well, so I've talked to JB about this, and I think one of the things I probably wouldn't do again was, we recorded all those songs in a setting, and that, number one, I think that's hard on JB. I'm neurotic, dude. I go in, like, literally, if I had enough coffee, I'd go 24 hours straight and just like obsess
I got this, dude.
until I got what I wanted. You know what I mean? But he's, is the stamina, and like, I understand that, if you're not able to get a take and you're frustrated already, you need to take a break, like.
Yeah, because it just gets where that stuff compounds.
Yeah, exactly. You're just wore out. Your hands are tired. Now you can't pull it off. So that's not really fair to him. So I think it's way more efficient. I talked to him about maybe let's do 3-song blocks and just start recording these songs, and then however we want to release them. If we want to release it as an EP, or just hold off. If we get one that, hey, we should just release that as a single or whatever, do that. And if we get 9 backed up, maybe we'll just release as an LP. But just to keep recording would be the main thing for me.
Like the Traveler that we put out, that's not on the full length. So that's just, you can get that. It's just the EP with the Pulling Dirt,
Gone Too Far.
Gone Too Far, and the Traveler. And we left the Traveler out, which is a really fun song to play live for me, and it's a fun song to listen to. That's not going to be on the vinyl record once the vinyl comes out, which I'm bummed about. But
Are you guys having issues? I've heard there's a lot of issues with getting
it's taking
vinyl.
a while, but it's coming.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
the vinyl's coming. soon.
We talked about doing the vinyl, and if you try to get a hold of like Pirates Press, all the main ones, every one of them was backed up like 6 months to a year. And a matter of fact, when I was gonna do our vinyl, a lot of them were like, we're not even taking orders. We're just so backlogged. It's a year out. We're not even taking orders right now. And I finally found Palomino Records. I think it's because they won't do your jacket and everything in the plant. They only do the vinyl.
And then you have to get your own
And so
sourcing.
you have to go out of source it out to get
we'll just do all the labor stuff.
So I've already got the jackets, and vinyl I think should be coming. I'm hoping before July. So I think they sent me like, how you're supposed to get like the test pressing or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they sent me like an audio. This is what the audio is going to sound like. I don't know if that's the same thing.
I don't think so, but maybe.
No, it's not a test press. That's it's an audio file. It's not a.
Well, just talking to a friend of mine, he said that they sent me an audio file, and then he's all a month later, like they showed up on my door. So I don't know. So, but we're really excited about the vinyl. That's a big, we can't wait to.
Or you can go
get that
talk
out
with
there.
American Made. I don't know. When I went and did him, he had like 5 stacks of boxes of vinyls from somewhere. Maybe he even did them like a year or two ago. I don't know, but
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
hard. Everything's backlogged for vinyl. It's a thing again.
Yeah, American Made's another cool band that we play shows with, and
Yep.
I heard Ryan on your show not too long ago. I don't think. Yeah, man, it's fun out there. I like when because like I said I listen to vinyl, so whenever we go to shows, I try to buy. If you got vinyl available, I'm gonna get one from you.
Merch support.
Yeah, merch support.
Matter of fact,
but I like
we like
to
to think VCS. They're the ones who
Yeah.
who said, "Hey, talk to this guy," and they're the ones that sent
Yeah.
your contact. And so
it's
thank
fun.
you guys. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
This is our past starts, a monster in your conscience. You'll need your courage to confront your fear. Decide before you even find the door. You must defeat the raging mind, the door. Run! Run! Close your eyes, try to run and hide. He always finds what he's hunting for. Finds a way in his twisted maze. A wrong turn and you'll need your fate. This is our past starts, a monster in your conscience. You'll need your courage to confront your fear. Decide before you even find the door. You must defeat the raging mind, the door. You must defeat the raging mind, the door.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is it's fun. It's fun just because people are interesting. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, that's what I don't know what one of the guys was telling. You know, I've seen all kinds of 311 interviews. I've seen Metallica, Pantera, but no one knows they're local musicians at all.
Yeah.
And then usually, I mean, I haven't met any duds yet. I'm sure they're out there, but most of them are interesting. They have stories just about fun things in life,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and
No,
that's what makes it fun.
no,
Absolutely.
supporting the local scene for sure. You know, I mean, like you saying, like Applecore. Yeah, I've been seeing my friends. You know, we've played these guys in all our lives. So it's like the local scene is where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
So what do you guys got coming up next as far as shows?
Well,
maybe
tonight, is it Saturday?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go out and see Celebrity Stalker and actually American Made. I think VCS on the bill.
Narcoleptic
Youth.
That's one up in Victorville
So
too, right?
no, this one's at. I'm gonna plug you
Boomers.
guys. Boomers in Long Beach tonight.
Okay.
I'll see you there. But this podcast probably won't come out.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's gonna be outdated. But
But just so they know, they'll see
Anyways.
you there.
I'll see you there. This is not live. Okay, I forgot. Sorry about that.
And as far as so our next show would be June 17th at the Tower Bar in San Diego. Then June 24th, we're playing with Narcoleptic Youth at Roke Brewery in Upland.
Yep.
And then we
Taco
got
Punks.
Taco Punks. And then we have that show with Guttermouth and the Whiskey Barrel on July 9th. So we're looking forward to all those shows.
So are you guys going to do tours, maybe little tours, or are you just going to be still playing shows just here and there?
I think I mean, well, we talked about it, but I just the logistics. We all work. We're working dudes.
Dang them full-time
maybe
jobs.
Some
I hate to
weekend,
say
Vegas, Arizona, like just do a little loop, maybe do, 4 days or like just start out with some of those. I like to hit like South Bay. I like to go north, really, that whole, like the Nardcore scene, like that, from like Lagwagons from up there, just that whole scene. And I think they would
Ventura and
take
all that.
to our style of music and Ventura. I know.
One of the funniest shows I think we ever played. It was someone's birthday party in Ventura. So this was like a 95 out of 4, 3. I don't know. We show up and in a nice neighborhood, kind of, like this. Mom and Dad are out in the barbecue. You go inside there. When we first got there, there was a Pantera cover band just going out and mosh pit in the living room and a bunch of people smoking weed in the back. And it was like the weirdest party I'd ever been to. You're just like, this is Ventura, huh?
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Pretty wild place.
That's my impression of Ventura.
Weird shows. I none come to mind, but I know we got a bunch of them.
That's the joy
I
in
do
playing
not
in
like
the
the
band.
cops in Ventura, though. But
Oh, really?
I'll just leave it at that.
But, no,
Not that I'm. I'm on the radar, or I have a record. I've never been arrested or whatever, but I've had my run-ins because we camp up and down the coast, you know. So Carpinteria or Casitas, you know, Doheny, whatever, every once in a while. So yeah, I guess we were too loud at the campsite at midnight playing our guitars, singing campfire songs, which our campfire songs are like old punk songs.
They're like, what is this
You
noise?
know, what are we doing? Police Truck by Dead Kennedys? Okay. You know, so they say, hey, can you guys keep it down? And I guess we did, and they came back. And anyways, I told you I wouldn't get into it. Never mind.
It's okay. Do tell.
I got a show that came to mind. I'm gonna remind him. He probably forgot about this. We were playing. This is SMD, I guess. And we were playing in Redlands. And remember that dude with the cast, or he had a broken leg or something. And we're playing. He's rocking out. I mean, like, you know, one of those guys that, like, you know, sticking out. You're like,
He's getting too hard at this.
He's rocking out, yeah. And I remember playing, and he I thought he fell over or something, but he because, you know, he had like a crutch or whatever. He falls over, and then in the middle of our set, and this guy, he's a hard drummer. He hits hard, right? So he crawls up on the stage, this guy, and when I look over, the guy had stuck his head in the hole of his kick drum, the hole, you know, the mic hole or whatever. And JB's back there double kicking. I'm all, what the hell?
What's this dude doing?
It looks like he's headbanging in there. I don't know, man, but I was like, get out of there and kick the guy.
I mean, it can't be good for you. You know, it just can't.
He wanted the full effect.
I'm sure he woke up, son, what is wrong?
Yeah.
My head hurts. I didn't drink that much, I promise.
Concussion time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
I've had people come, you know, grab cymbals. You know, you play some of these places where the audience is all around you. You know, you're in a corner of a bar or whatever. So, and one guy's like hitting cymbals and like, you know, okay, you know, he's having a good time, and I appreciate the enthusiasm. But now he's like actually
Messing
being
things
part
up.
of my show. You're like, hey, I'm trying to drum here, man.
Don't make me smack you. Oh dear, that's
It's fun.
awesome.
It's fun.
Oh, life of playing in a band.
Yeah.
The excitement.
I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't do it if it wasn't so fun, because it is a lot of work, and the drummer has to cart his stuff around and load up and carry all your crap around. And I'm usually like the first at the show and last to leave because I try to support everybody. And it's so fun though. Like, I like it when it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. My drums are in the back, coming back from LA or whatever. And after a gig, you're tired, but you're kind of like elated and like just and then, you know, you get some fast food and you just relive the night.
This
I guess
is
it's
life.
great.
This is life.
It really is fun. And then you got to go home and unload and open the garage up. And at that point, I put a record on, and because all my shit's in,
Wind
I have like a
down.
little studio in the garage. I got all my memorabilia and posters, Bad Religion, all these cool little posters and stuff, and all my records in there, and couches and carpets. And so I sit in there and crack a beer and unload my drums, and
Dang.
it's the night. It's, you know, it's great. I love it.
I got to the point where I'm like,
No, I know.
it's 11 o'clock. I'm just going to leave him in the car.
No,
I'll get
I
it
know.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's too
loading
much.
gear, yeah.
Loading, unloading.
Yeah. You see the,
No roadies.
I'm still playing the half stack, and you know, there's almost a little bit of envy when you see the guy with the little practice amp going, just making it happen. It's like,
sounds just
I
as
go,
good.
what am I doing? Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, something about the power of the full stack or half stack.
Yeah. One band I played with. So I bought this from the bass player. It's a 910 stack.
Yeah.
And then the guitar players both had full stacks.
Oh man.
I mean, they were loud. They were loud as all could get out. But man, moving that crap around, you're just like,
No.
this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Gotta have a crew.
Yeah, seriously.
That thing's pretty beastly over there.
Well, it's old, so most of them have the 810s. This
Oh.
one has 3 stacks of 3. So it's
Oh.
got 3 triangles.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if
Wow.
like Ampeg made them like that at one point and then quit.
Oh wow. That's definitely the refrigerator right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's heavy. Damn thing's heavy. So was that B4. Goodness gracious, man.
Paul Olives, he goes, "What are you doing with that '80s gear?"
Yeah, my buddy just got an orange a combo, and orange, and I actually used it once in a while. I'll do a guitar in a Misfits cover band, just some old my old buddy Rick Sorty, we used to play in Sixth Sense together. I used to drum. He used to be the bass player, and he plays now in the Midnight Cruisers. He does like all the lowrider shows and stuff. He plays. He's doing like War and all the cool like oldie stuff. You know, having a good time. But he likes the hardcore stuff, so we'll do some Misfits stuff, and he plays bass, and I play my guitar. But I use my buddy's orange amp. It's just a 12 combo. And it sounds fantastic, full and big, and it's like he just has this little dolly setup where he just puts everything on it, and in one shot he wheels it out, and that's his gear, man. Like
I'm done. I'm going home.
He's done. Perfect.
Peace out.
So efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, Jason, Ian, thanks for joining me.
Been a pleasure.
Good luck.
Yeah,
and
it's been fun.
all you guys are rocking out in your EPs and
Yeah.
your shows.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do it again. So, are you guys gonna soon go into the studio, or are you gonna try and figure stuff out and then go later?
We got our songs on deck. So our bass player, we can't be too hard on him. He for 2 months it was just full on like you gotta learn the set.
Did you make him learn by ear, or did you actually show him? Some
I actually
stuff?
made little instructional videos.
You did?
Yeah, just because it's like
How nice of you.
yeah, it took a lot of time, but like it worked. Some people learn differently, but we gave him a little break, and now like it's time to start like going. All right, time to start going on the new stuff. So pretty soon.
Well, totally. Are you gonna go to the same place, or are you gonna find somewhere new?
We'll find some.
Yeah, probably
we're
something
gonna-
new. He's actually got Chris has he's doing audio engineering for like apps and stuff. So I don't know if he's even recording local bands now. So I got a couple of studio. He sent me some some guys. If you guys want to do some stuff in the future, hit this guy or this guy, and we probably will. So
I just remember we did one guy out there in Corona because they wanted to do reel to reel.
wow, old true analog, huh?
I'm like, I don't care. I'll do digital.
I actually love it. Love
It was cool,
analog.
but-
yeah.
One
I
take.
mean,
yeah.
well, that's how we did it. Like with our other band
SMU.
back in the day, we just kind of jammed, and it was no click track and stuff. Nowadays it's all gridded out and stuff. But yeah, we used to just jam, and we, our first demo actually, this is back in severe mental disorder days. Was is all tape and analog and just jamming and so.
The memories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lo-fi. As a studio
Lo-fi,
called
right.
Lo-fi
That's what it
Studio.
was,
Yeah.
correct.
And
It's
it
fun.
just- and we just jammed and it got captured on tape.
Yeah.
And
Hey, if it works.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. You guys have a good afternoon.
We
You as
appreciate
well.
you having us over here, Jeff.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Jeff.
you think